Welcome to episode number 4. I'm your host Jay, a quantum machine learning researcher. Today we have with us Srikutan, who is the co-founder and CEO at Bloq Quantum. He is a MS in physics from IISER Pune and is a experienced quantum professional with quantum product roles at various startups. In the podcast, we discuss quantum startup ecosystem, quantum software, quantum careers, and a lot more. Hi, Shrikudan. Thanks for joining us today. Before we begin the podcast, I would like to congratulate you for the successful pre-seed round of Bloq, and we would like to know your journey of how you started quantum computing and how you got into the field.
Thanks a lot, Jay, for inviting me to this podcast. The journey it didn't start 1 year or 6 months back. It actually started when I was in my college. Accidentally, I started a online coaching institute with one of my friend called Boson Academy. So that was a time when the tech was in the boom, the COVID times, and also that is where the entrepreneurship bug had bitten me, and that's where it all started. And from that went to did my research project with at Raman Research Institute in Bangalore, and that time I actually knew that I'm not fit for academic research, PhD. I won't be my forte. I would be able to do it, but I won't be able to do it full heartedly. I was searching a lot of ways, and somehow ended up in Krishi because I had the stage was set for me to be a founding member and do a lot of things. There was huge amount of flexibility, so it was a great place to be at the point of time. And every decision I took afterwards was actually on the way or the direction for me to start something on my own. So I was always looking forward to different use cases. So this is not my first startup. I've worked on multiple different ideas, lot of ideas. Nothing went anywhere, but so and this was at Krishi when I was talking to different customers where I understood there's a huge problem and a huge opportunity that we can solve and build a big business. And so for that to happen, for block to happen, it really took 6 months, but the journey was not about 6 months, it was 4 years. So yeah, that's how it all happened.
Okay, that's interesting. And you said that you had previous startups, but you got success in this one. So, what do you think? Why? What was the key factor here?
So first one was on academy, was it was in fourth year of my college. It was a time when I was trying, was a time like I didn't know what was startup at that point of time. I heard startups, I thought startups was above me, like beyond my capability. So that was for me just like another business we tried, and that's where I studied, and that's where I actually understood how to not start up. They said there are ways you should not start up at all, like it was complete failure. I started for 1 year. So that actually failed because I had no idea. I had no clue what I was doing. Then I tried different ideas. It was just trying different ideas, trying to see something works out and all. And that also didn't go anywhere because a lot of ideas, right? You get a lot of ideas, but you don't know will it work or not. So I just tried and it went nowhere. Then recently I tried another sustainability startup. That also couldn't go anywhere because the market wasn't right. Sustainability is a buzzword. It's a word that everybody uses, but nobody cares. So and what actually clicked for me here right now is that the market is right. It's right timing. My background is perfect. Right. Studied physics, worked at a quantum computing company, then consulted product at Quantum Insights. Perfect background for doing a quantum startup, and good idea about the ecosystem and problem statement. A lot of things clicked, and to run a business, you actually need to have strong fundamentals.
Yeah, so can you tell us more about Bloq? I know that it's a quantum software startup. So, what's the problem that you're trying to solve? What is the vision for Bloq that you have?
So what I understood when I talked to a lot of enterprise users were that they really want to start exploring quantum computing, but quantum computing is super hard. Right? It is super hard to start writing code, writing programs on it. So that was the first insight that I got. And the second insight was a lot of these enterprise users clearly wants an idea about the business insights, right? For example, what is the speed up that this particular algorithm can give you? What is the use cases that this particular algorithm can be used for? What is the technical feasibility? Is it near term or long term? So that was one insight, one problem that these users are facing. And in general, there's a huge barrier of entry for enterprise users to get into quantum computing. And that was the problem, and that is what actually motivated me to start Bloq. And the vision here is it's pretty grandiose. So in 10 years or so, more from 5 years from now, quantum computing will become mainstream, just like generative AIs or other technologies. Fine. At that point of time, enterprise users would need a one-stop solution for building quantum solutions, and that includes data, algorithm, and deployment, right? Where you want to deploy in different devices. So we would and we will become that one stop for everything in quantum computing, from data to deployment. Right now we have an algorithm pipeline, but the vision is to build that one stop solution and be that one player where one platform on top of which all the quantum applications, quantum software, and quantum algorithm of the future is going to be built. So that is our mission.
That sounds good. Yeah. And talking about this one-stop solution thing, the only startup that I would say that's doing something like that would be Classic or Kipo Quantum. These two names I just have for this quantum software kind of thing. Mostly others are just focused on hardware.
Correct.
So how you see their work? You see the things that they are doing.
So I absolutely have a lot of respect to all the players that came before us because they gave us. So we have studied all those players. Right? They were the early movers. You can say they were a bit early to the market as well. So they gave us the precedent. They gave us the context to actually build our platform on top of what are the drawbacks or what are the shortcomings that they have. So respect for this place, but I think Block would be 100 times better than what they have built.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, another question that that for an early startup, you would need people, right, to build things. So what sort of qualities that you would look for in people, because you have experience in quantum computing. So what are the things that generally quantum companies, quantum startups look for in people before they can welcome them in the team?
So I'll answer that in two parts. First, I answer how other people, other startups in general are hiring. Um, so most of them, it's my observation. So it's not truth, it's my observation. So what I've seen across the quantum startups, other quantum startups, India and globally, mostly global, they hire mostly out of merit. They look at the resume. If you see you have a PhD in quantum, so and so forth, so you have a good chance of getting there. So most of them are based on academic qualification because quantum, as you know, it's very rigor based platform. So for research person, they look at that only. But our approach, Block's approach is completely different. The skill set that we only look forward is the attitude to learn and the bias to action. These are the two things that we look. So bias to action is very key for us. That's why we never screen resumes. We never screen resumes. We send a screening task for all candidates who apply for us, regardless of their degree, their background, their academic qualification. So if you're able to solve this, we'll have a conversation. No interview, just a conversation. So these are two things, and you might be surprised. So the team members that we have, actually, two of them are currently in their final years in their college. So You might know, like, we don't look at academic qualification at all. What we look at is bias to action and their attitude to learn.
That sounds really practical for anyone, maybe students who are watching this from computer science or who are interested to for work for Bloq or for quantum computing in general. Like what sort of, because as you just mentioned previously, quantum computing is not that easy. The entry level, even for people who want to get in, it's not that easy to directly get into something. So say maybe people who are pursuing computer science or physics, or say, like, what sort of advice would you give as a senior?
So especially for quantum computing, right? For any other fields, if you're a student, let's say second year, third year, or fourth year student, even if you're a first year student, what you should always identify what you're good at least identify what you're not good at, because I identified where that I'm not good at research. So that's why I was able to explore a lot of other areas. So I was trying to find which area I'm good at. So I continuously explored a lot of these areas. You'd be surprised, I was hosting a show to see if I'm good at being a host. So I've tried a lot of things. So what I always suggest students, young minds, is, right, don't wait for someone to show you a path. Try everything out there and find something that you're good at. So you might not like it, but you will eventually, tend to like it. So find that one thing that you're really good at. And let's say if you think you're good at marketing, for example, if you see a marketing art from a company and you thought about an copy, that marketing campaign that could have been better, so that means you're good at it. Slowly can could take track of it. So once you're good at it, then every information for you is a chat GPT or a perplexity prompt away. So don't wait for someone to show you or give you resource on how to start. Find it yourself. It's all there out there. It's all there. So like, nobody have taught me how to start up. It's all out there. So if I'm able to study it out, myself, so it's all out there. The second thing is that go to quantum example, right? So for example, if it is quantum research, so in quantum itself there are a few key areas. If it is research software, you can do research software and other things in quantum, for example marketing, quantum based marketing and other stuff. So if you are good at research, start doing research on your own. Don't wait for a professor to give you a research topic. Find research topic. So for example, you might not be able to find research topic on your own. That time you ask for help. You can definitely come and ask me, like, what are the few research topics that should I start. I've shared a lot of these ideas with students who are willing to start. Reach out to experts in these areas and they will give you ideas. In-depth research will actually give you ideas on which topics to go forward. So if it is software, start studying software, start building projects, right? So, and then you go out on the job market. So there will be huge amount of validation, huge amount of credibility for you because you have already shown work. Don't wait for anybody to show you a path. Find what you're good at, then do that stuff, and then get out. And you probably would have a better chance than most of the 99% of the people out there, because I've seen a lot of resumes. Even though I don't screen it, we don't take it as uh, a thing for selection, but just look at it, right? So a lot of them, it's just, I've studied here, that's it. So do real world projects that'll be that game changer and would help you get out there and get a good career for yourself.
Yeah, when you talk about it that way, it actually resembles my journey of how I started with a project, quantum glasses, which was quantum software, and that actually helped me land a quantum internship at a company, and that's how I started as well. So that really sounds good. Yeah. And talking about, say, we have only, like, when you talk about at global scale, even India as a country is getting serious about quantum computing. We have a few Indian startups alongside Bloq as well. So, how important, or, how big of this opportunity do we have, as a country when you talk about quantum computing?
So India in general, I mean, it's when I start looking at India, there's huge amount of potential in terms of talent. So finding Peter Shore or other quantum scientists who have done great from a 140 billion, 140 crore people is easy, right? There are great talent out here. So you are actually missing out on that. A lot of us are actually missing out on what Indians can do. So we'll have, let's say, thousands of beta shows actually in hiding in in the in Indian people out there. So the opportunity for us to grab is huge. We are missed on generative AI wave, we missed on the computing wave, we missed a lot of this technological revolution in general. This is a time we should be in the front, riding the wave instead of the wave riding us, which has been most of the time. And what I say, it is not late. The best thing is it's not late. Of course, yes, US, UK, Europe ecosystem is already well established. Indian ecosystem is, sadly, it's not established at all. um, in 2 years back there was few efforts to actually build the ecosystem, but I think it's slowing now. We should ramp up that. Government is actually doing something great. Recently the proposal for startups from national quantum mission has been rolled out, which is great news. A lot of startups will be benefited, and with that momentum we should at least produce 100, if not less, startups, quantum startups in India within 5 years. And that moment, if we can keep on, we can definitely capitalize on this, because the talent is abundant and talent is the best in the whole world. So there is no question in that.
Yeah. And when you talk about things like generative AI, that India is really doing well on generative AI as well. But if we talk about technologies like AI in general, how the rise of quantum computing will affect these technologies, that are rising right now alongside quantum computing.
So what we should understand is that quantum computing is a fundamental, it's a new form of computing. So on top of on top of a computer you build technologies. So don't think quantum computing as a technology. Quantum computing is new, it's a paradigm shift of computing, and top of this you build technologies. For example, quantum AI, quantum generative AI, quantum optimization, quantum simulations. So these are technologies. So you have been building on top of the classical computer, now you build on top of quantum computer. So all the technologies that currently are being built will be fast tracked once quantum computer arrives. So it is only going to accelerate. So the best thing is that it goes hand in hand. It goes in confluence with the current technologies, and quantum computer will be powering the next technological revolutions.
Yeah. So you just mentioned India's National Quantum Mission previously, that India is showing it is indeed serious about quantum computing. We've seen that with that, yeah, National Quantum Mission. So any other steps that you just mentioned? We need more startups, but again, as we just discussed, even to get into a startup, it's not that easy. Then building your own startup, it's not very easy either. So, what would you suggest for Indians, maybe who are experienced professionals in some other domain, maybe software or something, maybe AI, but who would like to build a startup or get into this domain? What would you suggest for such experienced individuals?
In terms of building a startup, right, building a business, or so for building a business, building a startup, I always will tell two things. The first one is that we should always have the mentality to look out for problems. There is no other hard and fast rule than building a business. You should always look out for problems. Even if you see a problem, and if you say, oh, that's a problem I don't want to solve, that's your mentality. Startups are not good for you. Startups won't be good for you. If you see a problem and think, oh, that's an opportunity, then you have something there. So first and foremost thing is always look out for a problem and disregard of your background. Be a first year student. Doesn't matter. Find a good enough problem statement. You can build a prototype. You can build an MVP or a small version of whatever solution that you're looking forward to it. You can validate that easily, get a customer, and you can build startups. So not a problem at all. Your background won't be a problem. And next thing that I would really ask them is that The process of building a startup is not easy. It can be quite lonely because nobody tells you what to do, right? Because nobody have built that startup, nobody have built Bloq before me, right? So nobody know how to do this. So we need to figure it out, and there are a lot of different areas that you need to put your hands if you're a founder, like hiring, finances, finance. All the founders hate finance. It goes above their head, but you need to do that. You need to constantly keep constantly make that mentality that, even after getting thousands of rejections, you keep your head up, you have a smile on your face, and look out for next rejection. You won't get a yes very easily. It's rare. You need to be in love with the process. How am I in love with the process of building a company? For me, like if you say, giving an example, when the money came to a bank account, the fund, the pre-seed fund, I wasn't happy. I mean, it wasn't a happy moment for me. Oh, okay, nice. So it's just another day, right? So that is what it will be like. The rewards. If you are in here for the rewards, it's not a better place for you. If you're looking for results and be happy, or if you're high on results, please don't be here. Go, no, you'll be able to find good job, and there you'll be able to get appraisals, bonuses that can keep you happy, right? So then, regardless of your background, doesn't matter, and especially for experienced professionals, I will say one thing: don't start in quantum at least for some time, let's say in 2 to 3 years, unless you really understand the problem statement, because quantum is very nascent, right? It's very nascent, and you won't be able to build a good product if you don't have deep knowledge about the ecosystem, research landscape, and all sort of stuff. That can be a problem, but for building any startup, go for it. Not a deep tech startup, go for it. Definitely go for it. If you know coding, go for it.
And you just mentioned Block again, so I would just ask one more question, probably the last question. That you just said that Block is this one-stop solution, and this is mostly on the side of quantum software, right? So how important is quantum software for the overall development of quantum computing? Because mostly people are focused on quantum hardware, but I had recent conversation with some of the researchers and so on, and they say that quantum software is kind of underrated as compared to quantum hardware. So what's your opinion
So
on that?
it's true. Let's say you have built a car and you don't have the steering. What do you do with it? You have built a car and you don't have the steering wheel, so it's useless. So that's it. I mean, if you don't have good quantum software, the hardware you have put your sweat, your hard work, everything is sitting there somewhere in America. Like that's where, and probably in Europe, and hopefully in India as well, sometime soon. It'll sit there and it'll just age. That's all, right? So quantum software is that bridge between excellent quantum computers that is going to be built in future and the end users. So that should be there, without that it's useless.
Right. Yeah, great. That was a great opinion actually. And thanks a lot for joining us today. I wish you all the very best for Block, and I hope it becomes a huge startup that comes out of India and takes that important place in the quantum ecosystem.
Definitely, that's a goal. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Jay. Bye. Take care.